It's for the outdoor smithy, or forge if you prefer. So, first of all, here's the anvil. It's pretty big. It's got numbers stamped on it in the traditional manner to indicate the weight. I don't really know the system, so I'm going to have to look that up. But I think it's a fair old weight, and I'll go into the numbers and the weight later. I'm not very good at estimating weight myself, but there's a fairly large ball-peen hammer beside it. You can see it's quite a big anvil. It's not in the most fantastic condition. You can see there's a broken kind of edge there. Not spectacularly broken, but not sharp like it would like it to be. At the back here, it's a much cleaner edge for about maybe just over half to 2/3 of the way along, so I guess that's usable, even though it might not be so easy to reach over to. But you know, I'm a beginner, so I'm not panicking about that. This may be my last anvil, it may not. I may change it for a better one at some point if I get on with this, or I may try and fix it by, welding up a face on the edges. I'm not really sure how to do that. That would be another day's work altogether. So anyway, it's got quite a nice ring to it. I'm doing this because that's what people that know about anvils do, to test them. But you can see it's pretty nice. And once that paint's sorted out and cleaned off on the top, I'll get a large ball bearing from somewhere and do a ball bearing test and feature that in videos as well. Surprisingly easy to get this from my van onto the patio, single-handed. Next up is the large piece of oak, which was cut for me and given to me by a local tree surgeon. Very pleased with that. It was very nice indeed and very nicely cut. I don't know if the faces are totally parallel, but then maybe nothing else in this patio is anyway. Although the oak is cut to the right height for the anvil for me, I'm nevertheless going to add to the height a little bit by sitting it on top of these two grey painted sections of eye-bar, so that it will keep the bottom of it off the patio, because this lot's going to live outside, so I don't want water sitting underneath that there and soaking into the wood and eventually rotting it. I know oak doesn't rot very easily, but still I want to protect it as much as I can. So these have just been painted with grey machinery paint. Now over to this beauty. It's a large brake drum that I picked up yesterday. It's like a Zen temple bell. Some people would say that that's too big to make a outdoor forge with, and I think that's probably true. It's massively heavy, and that steel will soak up a ton of heat, as well as taking a lot of coal or whatever other fuel to fill. However, I'm going to fill the inside of it with a cone-shaped funnel of refractory cement, which will narrow it down and create a much better shape and take up quite a lot of that space. The bottom's very wide, but today I found these brake discs, and that will sit quite nicely in there and could either be welded or bolted in onto that bottom ring there. So there'll be a nice bottom there for the forge, for the flange of the pipework to be bolted onto, you see? So, all good. And finally for now, this. It's starting to rain, so I'm going to take this inside again. But I've got this nice variable speed blower. Apparently it goes from a whisper up to a gale force, so shouldn't be any problem there in adjusting that. Although I might add in a kind of manual blower. I'm thinking of using a car foot pump, or trying a car foot pump as well, because I like the idea of not using electricity for this. And a car foot pump is something I haven't seen anyone using these kind of small forges, but I'm going to give it a try. But there will be times when it's handy just to have a good old electric blower just doing its thing, so that I can concentrate on the main issues of the day. So there we are so far, and I think the first thing I'm going to do is to whack that bark off that oak log, and then I'm waiting for some wood preserver to arrive, which can be painted onto damp wood and is suitable for exterior use. I'll treat that, and then we'll press on with the anvil. Coming off nicely so far. This is great, it's coming off really easily. Now this piece of wood was part of a bigger piece. It had lain after the tree was felled in the tree surgeon's yard for about 2 years, and then the guy cut this chunk off it for me. So there's no splits in this wood, no shakes as they're called, I believe. That's saw marks, not splits. So that would indicate that maybe it's not going to split, which would be nice. Even if it does split though, it's not the end of the world. It is what it is, but it's one monumental piece of wood. So there we are, the bark's off. I'll shovel that in the fire later, I think. Very nice. It'll be good for a bit of air to get at that, dry out the fibres. Doesn't matter if it rains on it a bit, it's been rained on for the last 2 years. Eventually the whole thing will be covered once it's all been treated and the anvil's on it and all painted and whatnot, but for now it's just going to breathe a while. I was mistaken earlier. I'm looking at the other end of this piece of wood now, and there are some splits. Nothing serious. Not worried, but just for the sake of accuracy. And you can see the basic arrangement that's sitting on top of these two eye bars, so it keeps it off the ground. And it's all going to need a bit of fettling. I mean, inevitably these things are going to wobble. There's going to be a bit of wobble in the setup there. I'll have to fix that, maybe with a bit of some pieces of lead, I think. Maybe, I don't know. And also I'm not quite sure how level it's going to be. There's definitely a slope down to the left there. If I turn it round, will that fix that? I don't know. I'm going to get the spirit level out, but I'm just jury rigging this just now because the whole thing is going to be treated with wood preserver anyway. This is just to set up and see how it all looks. I'm going to try and get that bad boy onto it in a minute. That'll be fun. Wonderful things, ladders. You can do all sorts with them. That's how I got it out of my van. Good exercise. There she is, jury rigged in situ. There's going to be quite a lot of fiddling and fettling to do to get it level because, you know, it's not so bad in the left to right direction, but here you can see there's quite a distinct slope. So moving the log around may help, but I may have to wedge it with something. You know, think about that. Look on the internet and so on. But all in all, I'm pretty pleased. And it rings like a bell. You know, I know that you don't want an anvil ringing too much when you're using it, so maybe I'll have to dampen it with something, but overall, I mean, I think this is one nice piece of kit. The little rough edges notwithstanding, I'm more pleased with it now that I see it on its stand and starting to look like it's usable. Now I'm just going to get some of this stuff onto the face, the table and the top side of the horn, and leave that probably overnight and then have a go at it with wire brushes in the morning. So these surfaces that I just mentioned are going to be bare steel, but the rest I'm going to just paint that same grey as these eye bars are. So I think the whole thing should look pretty handsome. I'm pretty pleased with today's progress, I have to say. So this thing's going to be absolutely massive when it's done, especially with the refractory cement in. It's going to be a serious bit of kit. I like massive though, I like heavy, I like solid. I don't like rickety, and unless I put this on spindly legs, it's not going to be rickety. Just marked out round the brake disc, which will form the bottom of the forge, and there we go, tons of overlap there, plenty of room for me to drill a few holes in here and fix it to there. I'll do that rather than welding, unless it proves horrendously difficult to drill the holes, because actually I've got no experience in welding at all. I've got a welding machine. I don't want to practice on this, I just want to get on with it, but it's always there in the background if needs be. Don't know if I can use any of the existing holes, but never mind. And here's my celebration for the end of a very enjoyable Friday of playing. It's 2 bottles of homebrewed Trappist style Patters beer. I'm going to put them in the fridge now. See you later.